correctly with the correct amount.
D20 Radio, where gamers roll.
www.d20radio.com.
Welcome back to the How We Roll Gaming podcast.
Woo!
Nick, how are you doing?
I am doing well.
And unfortunately, we are Robertless. Robert is a little under the weather. So we the past couple of episodes, the episodes themselves have fallen prey to what do we keep saying is the big villain of RPGs?
Scheduling.
Scheduling. So last time you couldn't make it here because you were attacked by a squirrel who took over your house for a brief time. He
You
was
should see how the squirrel looks.
he
That's
was a
what you
very
think?
great. We did see how the squirrel looks because he was a very gracious host for us that weekend while you were still in the ICU. We liked him better.
Left me scarred and deformed. But my resolve has
And
never been greater.
and so then, we had tonight scheduled for this episode to record, and then Robert's not feeling well, but we couldn't push it till tomorrow because there's actually a really cool gaming event going on in the downtown area of the suburb that I live in, which is like literally 2 minutes down the street from our house. And so we're going to try to go to that. Our friend Brev from the Movie Defenders podcast is how we found out about it because it showed up on Facebook as he was interested in going to the event, and I was like, "Oh, this looks fun!" And it is being co-sponsored by. You will know of which store I refer when I say it's being co-sponsored by one of the biggest game stores in the area that is also in the same suburb that I am in. It is being co-sponsored by Madness. So you walked into a distant cave somewhere, Nick.
Actually, that was like 4 feet from where my laptop is.
Yes, but you sounded like you were miles away in a cave.
I know. My house. It's
Um,
a non-Euclidean Wi-Fi nightmare.
well, and it's also such a tiny hovel. It's a tiny hovel.
In terms of good Wi-Fi zones, it is.
But so what all have you been up to since we last regaled our How We Roll audience with, well, I mean, you've been gone for a whole episode. So what have
Yeah.
you been doing since the last episode that you were on?
The last episode I was on, but that was quite a while ago. But mainly, I've been catching up with things. We finished off Alien Earth recently in that time
Yes,
period.
and spoiler alert, that might be playing into our discussion tonight.
Spoilers.
But we did also. I also have been reading a brand new. Since it's October, I'm reading a brand new horror novel.
Ooh, what are you reading?
It's more of a satirical horror novel. No, and I love the. I picked it up because I love the title.
And that title is?
Fuck This House. And several haunted house stories.
I think we're far enough in that YouTube won't hit us for that.
It's official title. It's done by a satire horror short storyteller, and it's his first collection and his seminal work. Fuck this house.
Well, I will be on a plane for a few hours next week, so I if I can, I think I'm going to try to get through reading the Star Trek Adventures, at least the quick start rules, so that we can see what that is all about and make our decision whether we're going to run a Star Trek game at Gamer Nation Con next year in Star Trek Adventures proper or do a Genesis port and run it in Genesis.
Yeah, definitely. That's would definitely. It sounds like I'm ambivalent, mainly because I haven't played in the Star Wars, the Star Trek rules. But it's like
Nick,
I can see either.
You run Fallout for us, and
This
it's
is
the
true.
2D20 system. It's the 2D20 system.
True, but does it have enough
So
loot tables to appease Robert?
I don't know. I don't know. We
Honestly,
might have to make some.
that's the whole reason that I got Robert into that game. There's like there are more loot tables than there are actual tables.
I might try to get through at least some of that on the plane and in the evenings after I'm done working. Uh, I know that there is one night that we are being taken out to dinner, and I'm sure at least one other night I will be shanghaied by my coworkers and told, "You're coming with us." It's like, but
Oh,
all you,
the Korean work dinner.
yeah, something like that. I had a nice, so I had to actually be in the office this week, boo, instead
Ooh,
of working from home, because our client's international management was here in town, so we had to be on site. And but did get a nice lunch Tuesday. Had a nice steak lunch Tuesday, and a
oh
nice
nice.
dinner last night on the client. So not going to complain there. Two food
And
comas 2 days in a row.
in terms of comics, I've caught up with the ultimate with the absolute DC universe. Really enjoying it, and I finished the trade paperback of Avengers versus Aliens, which is really good. It was really good,
Right
better
on.
than I expected.
I need to catch up on Absolute, and I need to read Alien versus Avengers. I need
If
to
you want
catch
to, you
up
can
on
borrow.
all of
You can,
Marvel's.
if you want to, you can borrow my copy. I just finished mine.
I may take you up on that, or I may have a line on reading it. And
You're gonna sail the interwebs.
never. Speaking of comics and RPGs, as we record this, we are 7 days out from Free League's Invincible RPG Kickstarter closing out.
Indeed. I
And
hope to. I don't think I'll be able to contribute this time. I'm looking at a larger purchase this month, personal. Looking at buying new couches.
Nick, it's a write off for us. It's a
Oh, you're
business expense.
right. Oh, you're right. We're business people.
Yes. We have an
Fist
actual
bump.
company that owns this podcast.
Fist bump. Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
mean,
can
just,
do that.
at the end of the year, I'll have to get, all of our receipts for gaming related stuff so I can do the taxes next year. But this is not a tax podcast. This is a gaming podcast. This is a tabletop gaming podcast. And as always, we want to let you know about one of the other great gaming podcasts that are here on the D20 Radio Network. Now, I'm going to take a deep breath because this one's a long title. The Wondrous Atlas of Creation's Destiny, an Exalted podcast.
Ooh, that's a mouthful. But the
Yes, it
Wondrous
is.
Atlas covers the lore and setting of the Exalted RPG. Each topic is split into two episodes, one to cover lore of a given subject, and the other discussing ways to use it in your game. head to your favorite podcast outlet and check out the Wondrous Atlas of Creation's Destiny. Whew, that is a mouthful.
It is. And also just some good network synergy too, in that our friends Steve and Steve over at the Me and Steve Talk RPGs podcast on the network, they recently started a sub series of an actual play of Exalted. So there's two other podcasts there to check out on the
And
network
then,
if you're interested in Exalted.
hopefully they trim down the title a bit.
Well, no, they just call the RPG Exalted. That's the long title's the podcast about it. But
uh,
what say we get into our topic for this episode?
let's dive on in.
Kind of going along with what we talked about in the last episode when you weren't here, but we had Lauren filling in. A lot of the games we play and a lot of RPGs currently out there on the market, period, are based on existing media properties. And we talked last time about accommodating players who may not be familiar with those properties, but even the best licensed games that are out there can't really keep up with new entries in TV shows, movie series, comics, whatever. They just can't get the new story information in a timely manner uh, to release those supplements concurrently with that new media. And a lot of times there's also a licensing process in there, looking at Lucasfilm. Uh,
Blah blah
but
blah blah blah. Lots of red tape.
right, exactly.
But when there's new content, inevitably, there's gonna be something that you, your players, etc., want to include in your game. There's the boring option,
Wait for an official supplement or material somewhere.
or for those of us who are impatient, uh, overly excited, or just have too much free time on our hands, there's finding a way to bring that new information in, whether it's just adding lore or statting out gear, NPCs, adversaries, or what have you.
We kind of hinted already that a lot of our discussion is probably going to be kind of heavy on Alien Earth because that just ended. And I don't know about you, but as I was watching Alien Earth, every time something new came on screen, I was like, okay, we need to stat that out. We
Sa-
need to stat that out.
There, we were literally saying that when we watched the final episode together.
Yes. And
I think we
we'll
even caught each other when we crossed the street and always pointed at the screen and said we got to stat that out at the same time.
we might also dip into something else that has recently concluded, which is Andor. But if we want to dip into our good old standard of Star Wars, there is plenty of new material that has come out since the last time FFG/Edge has released a new book for the Star Wars line.
And that is, let me look at the calendar. Let me calculate that. It's a long ass time.
It has been pre-COVID since the
So
last new book.
practically a
So we're looking
generation
at
ago.
5 years. We're looking at 5 years.
Oh, I thought that was just from now to January. It's like it felt like a long year, but I guess it's only longer.
But there are plenty of games out there that are based on existing properties, and you'll want to include that new material. So let's take a look at that biggie that's freshest on our minds. Let's look at
Mhm.
Alien Earth because we
And,
love the Alien RPG.
well, first, for those who have not had the chance to watch Alien Earth or abstaining from it for your own reasons, spoilers.
Spoilers.
Listen to River Song.
Mm-hmm.
She knows best. She can even fly the TARDIS better than the Doctor can. So, Alien Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Final spoiler warning. Just off the top of my head, things that we will eventually need to completely stat out that we're just going to kind of spitball a little bit here and not putting anything down on paper yet.
And there are
You've
plenty of online forums that have been like working on
played.
that, but nothing official
I
yet.
have not looked at any of them because I don't want them to influence anything that we're talking about.
I did the same thing. I was like, I had to like, I basically have not checked in like on their new pages on that. It's like so that we can just spitball freely.
Yep. So just off the top of my head, there are cyborgs. So
Cyborgs.
cyborgs would be different from synthetics that already exist in the game. So we would need to come up with some basic house rules for cyborgs.
Now,
I
first thing is I
don't
would say like stress. Stress is an important mechanic.
Yep, cyborgs can take stress.
That's the major thing. I'd say that it takes. We're still trying to work out that because especially we haven't seen the evolved edition yet on how it deals with stress potentially. But
Yeah.
right now we
We've
can
seen the
assume that
beta.
yeah, we've seen the beta, so we can assume that cyborgs can take stress, but they might have perks that can reduce that. How much
I,
stress they
I
take.
would say they wouldn't necessarily have perks for reducing stress, but that they would have like increased potentially, depending on what their cyborg
Yeah.
parts are,
Mhm.
increased strength like a synth, increased increased health that would come out of their strength, and possibly would have maybe kind of like synthetics do have their own talents
Yeah,
and
that's
and
probably a better thing. Like rather than perk, I'd say like a talent that can allow them to become more synth than person, like to take more
right,
stress than normal.
yeah, allow them to take more stress than normal, uh, or maybe take half stress,
Yeah,
uh, but although I
definitely
don't know if that would work.
they'd have stronger. They'd be stronger in general. Definitely
Right. But now,
higher health,
so
higher strength, but
and
proportional to what
I could
their specialties are.
and there would also be ways of integrating weapons into them because we
Yes.
saw that Morrow had both a knife and a welding torch built into his arm
So
cybernetic.
at least a tool and a weapon, and both
A
of
tool
those.
and a weapon.
So like depending on like weight, that probably would be a factor in statting that out.
And I could see also, just like there is the secret android aspect to the game that can be voluntarily taken, I could see maybe a secret cyborg that's a similar kind of thing.
Yeah, it just would be a little bit different because like they wouldn't have a programming they'd have to fight against. It'd just be regular deception.
Right. It would be deception. And if they are under orders or trying to keep their nature secret, they wouldn't be able to use like the integrated weapons or the enhanced strength or what have you
Until they make the
until,
reveal.
right, until they decide, okay, the situation is dire enough. It's more important for me to do this than it is to keep the secret.
Similar to the secret android as exists in the base game.
Right.
But I would say
Now,
also there would be a sort of similar stigma against by the player characters against cyborgs. They're
oh, yeah.
unnatural. They're different.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And there could be some, given how expensive the cybernetics probably are, there's probably some sort of, to borrow a Star Wars term, obligation to a corporation that funded the cybernetics.
Basically, like, even if they aren't controlled by the company by programming, they're in the pocket of somebody.
Right.
Now they can still play with that a lot more than with being programmed, but they still have to play with that.
And kind of a sidebar, this is more lore wise than anything else. We do have a lot more corporate structure and politics and things like that to play with after Alien Earth to add into the lore.
There's a ton of fun stuff to add into the lore.
Now, would you say that the hybrids are significantly different than a regular synthetic?
Now
Is there
that's
any
a question I've been asking myself since day one. It's like, functionally, no.
functionally no in terms of how they're built out, but I would say that there are traits or talents that would be unique to them that would actually, you know what? Because they are hybrids, those hybrid synths would take strain, I would
That's
think.
what I. Oh, honestly, like, if you, again, like, not to spoil anything from the show, but we see these characters, the hybrids, go through some extreme situations.
We keep saying strain and it's stress. We're thinking Star Wars.
Oh yeah, stress. They go through some intense situations where, honestly, it'd be perfect examples for stress, just for them to take stress
And
to make
I
a
know that
panic
the
roll.
evolved Yeah, I know that the evolved edition is not entirely but partially separating stress from panic. They're making them two separate but intertwined mechanics rather than a single mechanic.
It's
So
like,
that might be a way
I
to
like,
go.
so that could definitely affect that, but definitely, like, there are moments it's like, all right, this character suffered a bad panic roll, or this character is taking a whole lot of stress right now.
Yeah, so they would have a lot of the benefits of the synths. You know, the environment wouldn't impact them.
Probably the same, like, synth separate critical hit hit seat.
Right. But they would take stress, and there would possibly be there would possibly be some other form of drawback that, depending on how tied to their former self they are.
And depending on, there's a whole lot more to uncover with those characters. Like, if we take them from the series, we say, like, they could easily not have, like, a whole lot of experience in anything.
Yeah. And
They could
well,
have
and it would
strong
depend
core
on
stats, but like bad, like, skills.
oh, oh, I had a thought. That's what the scary thing is. I had a thought. So we know from the series that the reason Boy Cavalier used kids is that's how the transfer process was successful.
Yeah.
So we don't really know how it impacts adults. So we have lots of room to play there. We have room to introduce potential for hybrids get their own panic table.
Oh, that could be a whole thing too. Yeah.
Hybrids get their own panic table rather than the standard panic table because their situation is unique, and the impression that I got from the hints that were dropped in the show is that the reason it didn't work, the process didn't work with adults, is they were too mature to accept and come to terms with the reality of their new existence in a synthetic body.
Yeah.
So
That's it.
to
Or
borrow from Cyberpunk, the hybrid panic table has potential to lead to what is essentially
Cyber psychosis.
cyber psychosis.
An individual who's like basically like, I am in a body that is not my body, but I recognize it's not my body, but I can do so. It's like it creates a sort of
Yeah.
like body anamorphism. It's a weird factor. It's like, I know I'm not me, but I know who I am, and that just causes problems.
Now, I wish we knew more about why Marcy/Wendy could communicate with the xenomorphs.
That's
Actually, you
fascinating.
know what? There's a whole realm of possibility for special talents for the hybrids that synthetics don't have, because Marcy Wendy could
That could do
she could
things.
remotely impact computer systems.
And again, those weren't, like the idea is like the way I view the series is like the hybrids are like the next stage of evolution, but it's unguided. It's chaotic. They're picking up things and rolling with it. It's like they didn't plan to have these abilities in them, but it's like just like the human mind evolves and grows. Like, well, you put the human mind into a powerful machine that can basically do anything. It's gonna learn
Yeah,
and
and
go build beyond those capabilities. Like,
well, and we know that Marcy Wendy's capabilities, the computer interface things and the speaking with Xenos, at least as far as anyone on the project but Boy Cavalier seem to know, is that they don't know where those abilities came from. Now,
basically, yeah,
he hinted that he's the one who installed the computer interface ability, but
yeah.
he was just as surprised by her ability to hear and communicate with the Xenos.
Once again, like that's been a big debate. It's like the communication with Xenos is both a new and not new thing. It's something that happened in the old school Dark Horse comics. Similarly, with a female and synthetic made to communicate with xenomorphs. Noah Hawley has admitted that he has not really interacted with the greater alien lore. This is just a happy coincidence, but it doesn't have it doesn't. But the Alien RPG does like to look into the Dark Horse comics for president.
So we've got there's a lot of stuff there. I know that you and I have been talking about making our own Alien Earth fan supplement, and this is making me want to do it even more.
Let's get into. We're talking about like character options. Let's jump into gear from Alien Earth.
Gear. Um,
I think I know
so
what you want to talk about.
what do you think I want to talk about?
Oh, I don't know. It's the Spider-Man gun.
Yeah, the Spider-Man gun. I want the Spider-Man taser.
I like the taser. Some people say like it looks like a laser. It's like, yeah, it looks like a taser.
Yeah, and
It's just an
and just
It's just an electrical pulse. It's like if you call that a laser gun, like a laser gun shoots through things. A taser just knocks things down.
yeah, I definitely want to stat out the Spider-Man gun, because I mean, it makes you wonder why Wayland Yutani didn't make that standard gear for anyone that they were sending after the aliens. Now, of course, the pragmatic answer is nobody thought of it until this series, even though
This
it's
is true.
set before anything else in the series.
But
Well,
also,
it's not set before Prometheus or Covenant, but
like when people say like, "Oh, why does Prometheus and Covenant look so more advanced?" Well, the first movie took place on a glorified space truck.
Yes.
These are
So
these are the Prometheus and Covenant are multi-billion to trillion research and colonial missions.
right. So I definitely want that gun. It's basic, it's easy enough to come up with some kind of stun gun stats, and you give
It's
it
basically
the
just a,
webbing
cocoon,
attachment.
a webbing cocoon attachment.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, that doesn't have to just be for alien containment. It could just as
No,
easily be for search and rescues. Like, all right, we're going to put you into a cocoon that is permeable
you
but
know
allow
that
for air. It could just as easily be just a way to search and rescue.
yeah, that reminds me of conversations that I've seen and had online over the years where uh people have discussed, Peter Parker, and they're like, "Okay, so he makes this webbing. Why it looked like when you look at the original origin story, it seems like he had come up with that already before he got his powers. So why didn't he just go to 3M and sell them this formula?" And people are like, "Well, what practical use does it have if it dissolves
In an
in an
hour.
hour?" It's like, well, it's search and rescue, it's first response, it's cons- if you are having to hold something together while longer term repairs are being made, what better than a super strong adhesive that dissolves in an hour?
To which I would also say,
You
like,
know?
would you trust a teenager to make something that strong? You would want someone to like examine that, and then like a large company be like, "Here's a better version that lasts for like 4 hours."
But I mean, even if they could only make it last an hour, Peter Parker, he he went after he got his powers and came up with the webbing. He went and became a professional wrestler and a celebrity because he wanted the money. He would make millions, if not billions, licensing that formula to 3M.
Well, here's the
Patent
thing:
the formula and license it to 3M.
Peter Parker is a genius. He's not smart.
As proven in the Superior Spider-Man series.
Yes, for all the problems that people have with Superior Spider-Man, it's like, no, Doc Ock was right. Peter, go and get your degree. Hey, you can do it in like 2 years if you wanted to.
But end of side tangent. But yeah,
Yeah,
that would be an easy enough piece of gear to stat out. But the moment I saw that, I was like, "Oh, I want that. I want that in the Alien game.
as
Gimme,
part
gimme,
of
gimme, gimme."
as part of gear. So it's like I would like to. I know that there's a lot of people that like to pilot spacecraft or vehicles. I do like the shuttlecraft that we see roaming around. Really fun and cool designs that are,
Oh, Prodigy's shuttles
yeah,
they dropped literal children in robot bodies into a disaster area.
yes, but like I do like the designs of those. Those are, again, like I was scared, like what are they gonna fit the alien universe? And they do. They just look like sort of like planes, but a little bit more fancy. And like that's cool. And someone would like to probably on a either on an Earth setting or an Earth like setting with more technology would like to pilot that or have that as being piloted during an adventure.
And we've also got precursors to the pulse rifles.
Yep, and precursors
So
to the smart gun with let's just a bit more armature.
so those are easy enough to reverse engineer from what we have.
But I think what everyone and what we all wanted out out of Alien Earth is some new baddies.
So
New-
there's Boy Cavalier. No.
Yeah, Miss
I mean,
Lady Utani.
I know that there are already, archetypes in the Alien Core book for corporate people.
Yeah.
But after Alien Earth and seeing, Boy Cavalier and his group that worked closely with him and the head of the Utani part of Wayland Utani, I think it would be fun to come up with with a character type, with an archetype of a high level executive
Yeah.
that would have their own talents that deal with having to do those high level negotiations, like that arbitration
Yeah, all that
between
arbitration scene was.
Cavalier and Utani. And so they would
I.
have their
Yeah.
they
That'd
would
be a
have their
fun.
own talents. But what I would suggest is, because of the nature of high level executives in the Alien universe, their talents have both advantages and drawbacks to them.
Yeah. And I can
Like
see that.
their talents may allow them to influence people more through their either, you know, I know that Alien only uses a handful of skills as
Yeah.
opposed to other games. So I'm going to borrow multiple terms for how the skills in Alien are applied narratively.
And honestly,
Either
that's sort of
through
how I usually use it. It's like
yeah,
the skills are there, but every quote unquote skill is in those parameters.
yeah. So they could be influencing someone by coercion or by corporate double talk or what have you. But depending on what their relationship is with the character that they're talking to, you if you're Boy Cavalier and you're up at the top of Prodigy's food chain, you're kind of off-putting to others
You
because
aren't
he
part of the
was.
regular. Boy Cavalier is. I'm, we're gonna do a rewatch later soon. But it's like
And for
he's
that
up there in
character,
my like sort of like he's up there like top character of the show. Just because I loathe him and I love his performance.
and for that matter, taking like some of his tactics into account, as a high level executive, he made a point of being, for want of a better term, offensive. Actually, it's not for want of a better term. He made a point
Actually
of
offensive.
being offensive to Utani.
Because
S-
he has his feet, he has bare feet on the
Yeah,
table, and that is very, very offensive in certain cultures,
yeah,
especially
and
in professional cultures.
so maybe a talent called something like the best offense is a better offense,
Yeah,
or is a better offense.
he is.
If you catch the difference there.
Yeah, he's basically he's is arguing from a weaker point, but he's putting them at a weaker point because he's off-putting.
Yes, and so that talent could be used to say, either give that character additional dice in their role, or opposing characters
Like
take dice away
to
from their
again using
role.
that example, like we could have, as funny as it is, because Wayland is the British company, Itani is the Japanese company, but Lady Utani has a stiff upper lip perk. It's like, she is
Yeah,
professional, consummate professional. She will not play her hand.
but I know that's not the baddies that you meant, Nick.
Yeah,
You meant we're talking about a show called Alien Earth, and there were aliens.
but not the aliens you're thinking of. Again,
Well,
spoilers.
I mean, those were there,
They
but
were
those
there.
are already statted out. Those are already statted out. The xenomorphs we already got. We got 4 new alien species for this universe. I will say, let's let's save the best for last. So we'll start with, like, the leech slugs or
Yep.
whatever you want to call them.
I think colloquial term we're calling them blood bugs.
Blood bugs. So, you know, easy
They're pretty
enough.
simple.
Yeah, they're pretty simple. They just, latch on, and we'll refresh from our alien episode the way adversaries are statted out in Alien. They're not given full stats as if they were a character. The
They are very
alien,
much a creature, a
yeah, they're
obstacle
very
in the
much a
haggis.
creature. Basically, you roll a d6, and they have 6 different actions that they take, and they can
Basically, the
range
rest of them is
anywhere
like how
from,
speed and size. It's like these guys are small and
yeah.
they're quick.
So I would say, the 6 attacks for the blood bugs range anywhere from, you roll a 1, and
Yeah,
the
it's like the regular 1 to 2. It's like it makes a scary noise.
yeah, a
It's considered
6.
6. It latches on and
Yeah, 6, it latches on, and would you make 6 be an insta kill like it is for some others?
I'd say that it's not an insta kill, but it's like you gotta get it off now.
Yeah, you got to get it off
I'd say
because,
like give it like maybe have an additional roll of like of a d6. That's like how many rounds it has before it just like sucks them
oh,
dry.
I wasn't even going to say that. I was going to say, if it's a 6, it latches on and it does X number of d6s damage
Oh yeah.
to you. Period.
No, it's uh no, that'd be a bit. I'd say it still needs. It's not
Nick, is
supposed
that
to.
you're about to say that's a bit much when 6s on almost every other creature
You're
in this
right.
game is some form of insta kill?
Oh god, I forgot. I forgot what game we're playing. This is Alien. Yeah, 6 is it sucks them up like a Capri Sun.
So 6 is an insta kill. 5 is roll X number of d6s, and the number of successes is the damage that you take.
And they have a chance to get it off and possibly save it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, 6 is insta kill. Everything else is like just moving around, being scary.
There would actually, so from what we saw in the show, we would actually have 2 different sets of stats for the blood bugs, because that's the full grown ones.
Yeah.
But remember, little bitty ones got in the water on the Maginot.
Oh yeah, and those didn't necessarily kill that guy, but they were in the guy.
Yeah, so you have, we would have to come, and I think this will take more than just spitballing here.
Yeah,
You would have something that would be closer to how the black goo is statted out in the game.
yeah, that'd be close to like it would take a bit more like context and understanding to figure that out.
Yeah.
Because we didn't
Then,
see the full cycle there, but we did see a fully grown blood bug do the blood bug thing.
yeah. So then next up, we'll go with the fly. Fly's pretty simple. Fly's, it's
But
got,
it's also unique.
borrowing from borrowing from Cronenberg's The Fly, it's got vomit drop.
Yep.
And in fact, that's what I would call it.
Mhm.
Even though effectively it would be the same as acid damage, I would call it vomit drop.
But it does have something unique, and it's what makes it unique is what it would target.
Well, the sense that I got is that it could target anything, but unlike regular xenomorphs, synths are not immune.
Yes, and are something that it would likely go after first, based on their
Yeah,
lack
because
of
it yeah, it
based
seemed
on the
like
description of curse. Based on the description of curse, like for the lack of organic material, it would go after similar inorganic minerals.
right.
So
So
it's
it
not the
would
case that it would go after a synth before a person, but it doesn't mean it wouldn't go after a person if there wasn't a synth.
yeah, it would prioritize a synth because the synth is tastier.
But
So
that makes it uniquely a threat in the alien universe, where usually synths are ignored by the alien unless they attack.
right. And it can fly.
Mm-hmm.
They fly now?
They fly out.
They fly now.
So that gives them a huge movement boost above
Oh,
most
definitely.
threats. They're also
And
still relatively small, and it just takes
it would
one
be
to really attack a synth. Again, like synths are usually like your MVP, your heavy hitters in a group. If a
yeah.
fly is in the play, then the synth is the liability and will be taken out.
And it would also be fun to come up with something for their little nest.
Oh yeah, the nests are really cool.
So that's pretty simple to do. You basically you mimic the acid damage. A 6 is again kind of an insta kill.
Yeah, it basically just in the text it says like you'll go after a synth first before
Yeah.
for an organic player, but that's also like gives incentives to the
Oh,
players to be like, oh, we got to protect the synth.
or you know what else that allows for a lot of fun with, Nick? If you have a secret synth in the game. And
It would ferret them out first,
yes,
and they would have to reveal themselves to try and defend themselves.
presuming that the PCs know why the fly went after that character first.
That's true. It'd be a catch-22. It's like, will it reveal itself even though it's being attacked by something that is directly going to impact it? Or is it going to risk the missing, especially as it's, there's a lot that you can work with that there.
Yep. Nick, I'm getting more and more excited for our fan supplement the longer we talk.
Honestly, this
Okay,
is basically just this is basically us pitching that thing.
to ourselves, yes. So that leaves two more, and I don't know which one I want to do next. Actually, I do know which one I want to do next because it's the one we know less about.
And I think I
And
can
that
agree
is,
with you on that one.
and that is the plant.
The plant. The
That
plant's just,
the 6 on the plant is absolutely an insta kill.
oh yeah, it's basically what it did in the zone. It's the instant crunch.
Yeah. So
It comes up, it comes over you, and Venus fly traps you into a crunch.
yep. That's it. Game over.
Game over, man. It's game over.
That thing's got stealth. It is as natural camouflage.
From the look of things, now we never got this confirmation because the time that we saw it inactive the most, it was interacting with one of the hybrids. It was interacting with Toodles.
But it was clearly
But
visualizing,
but
or at least.
well, it was visualizing, and just at least the look of it had me thinking that, like, similar to like a Venus flytrap or something, that there must have been some form of scent or pheromone that might draw in prey.
Yeah.
Granted, it can move around like a Venus flytrap can't.
Oh yeah,
But
it moves around like a weird kite on the wall.
but it looked like, when it was just hanging there and that one stalk was out, it looked like it was doing something to entice
Again, that's
a meal
kind
to
of
it.
that is kind of, and again, that's what I like about the hybrids, in that they seem to be detected by these organisms, but they don't understand them, as if they can tell that there's a organic part to them, for lack of a better word. It's like they recognize that there's prey, but it's like they don't understand how it works. Like I could see that display being enticing to something in its environment, like it wants to
Yeah,
come closer.
and like that's why I say that, it almost, just from watching it, it almost looked like there might be some kind of enticing scent.
Yeah.
Like,
Again, it almost
a sweet honey smell or something to try to entice a meal. Come a
or
little bit
just
closer. I
or just
come a
in
little
general,
bit
just
closer so I can
movement,
just chomp.
or something just moving, like some sort of flower or fruit dangling to
Yeah.
draw something in. It's using I'd imagine it's using this multiple types of means by which coming closer, and then But let's talk
So
about
then there's our
the
favorite
main
boy,
the main character.
Teocellus, the eyeball octopus.
Everyone loves him. Everybody loves him.
Yeah,
And everyone's
there's so
terrified
much.
of them. It's like there's so much that we know and so much that we don't know.
Yeah. So I would say, a lot of things are givens because of the way the adversaries, like the aliens, are statted out in this game. 6, of course, is our insta kill, where it
Yeah.
burrows into your eye and takes over your body.
Again,
But since it is intelligent, when it takes over your body, which you take a combination of its stats and the PC's stats, and whichever one is higher, that's what prevails.
yeah.
So, like, if Teocellus has a higher intelligence than the character, than the PC, Teocellus's intelligence takes
Is
over.
what is
And
what it's
I would
using.
say, once it's inside a a human body, it's statted out like a human NPC. It's got more, a bigger bag of tricks, but if it chooses to attack someone to try to take over a new body, then you go back to the Teocellus stats.
So it's
In
because
fact,
it has very long reaching tentacles, and that's usually what launches it into to take control. That's what its main
yep,
stat then. A
yep.
physical.
So I would say its way of attacking would be it would be easy enough to copy the lower level attacks of a face hugger.
Yeah. It's
And
going for like it has enough intelligence on its own to stage ambushes, tricks, traps to get itself to advantageous areas. But when it's actually doing its attack, it's pure strength. It has to latch on and get into the eyeball.
and just based on what we saw in the 5th episode of the series, in all of your fluffy text for it and the Xeno instantly don't get along.
I like that because it does feel it. It's more than just we're going for the same prize. It's like that felt like personal beef.
Yeah, it absolutely did. And speaking,
I can
just
understand they are dangerous creatures.
footnote with the Xenos, we can now expand a little bit of the knowledge that we have about the face huggers because we now know what the embryo inside the face huggers is like.
Yeah, because
And
we
we
always
know
knew that
that,
there was an embryo. That's always been part of the lore.
yeah,
That's part of the
but
proboscis that goes down the throat. But
now
now
we
we
know what
see it.
it's like. And we
Yeah.
know that it can be, it can go into a standalone organ that is being kept alive. So, what happens if an enterprising someone gets a hold of some of these embryos and then just goes to the organ donation center? What
Ooh.
happens if someone implants an embryo in, a xeno embryo in, say, a heart that's about to be transplanted into someone? If someone with nasty motives gets a hold of some of these somehow, of course, they're risking their own lives to get a hold of these embryos. Like, what happens if, say, Boy Cavalier has to have surgery, has to have a transplant of some kind because of what the hybrids do, and Utani gets a hold of another embryo? Corporate
I mean,
assassination.
again, there's so much that can go into the general. And this is just one 8 episode series in a larger franchise.
Yep.
So many possibilities, so many concepts, so many stories, ideas. Again, you could run an entire session just without the xenomorph with one of these new freaks. You could run an entire adventure with the actual enemy being a renegade hybrid, or have a secret cyborg or sabotage the team.
Yep. One 8 episode season of a TV show has given us nearly an hour's worth of just spitballing high level ideas
And
of what to
we
do.
haven't again like we're planning on a rewatch again. Like definitely a part of that is going to be like comparing ideas and notes. Like
And now there's other, we won't give this next set of examples nearly as much time because a lot of the new information can be covered by reskins. But since the last time FFG Edge released a Star Wars book, we have had 3 seasons of The Mandalorian. We have had a sequel trilogy. We have had Solo, a Star Wars story. We've got some information from Rogue One. We've got, I think we have like 3 pieces of information from Solo in the books. But we have had, in addition to The Mandalorian, we have had The Acolyte, 3 seasons of The Bad Batch, 1 season of The Acolyte, a season of Obi-Wan Kenobi. We
the
have
High
had,
Republic.
yeah, all of the. I mean, I'm working on 3 High Republic fan source books because there's a ton of stuff that can be done with the High Republic.
Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton Crew, 1 out of 2 seasons so far of the Ahsoka series, which in and of itself introduces extra galactic concepts back into Star Wars that
Like,
existed in Legends, but now we have extra galactic content again. So that
including
door is reopened.
including massive hyperspace rings.
Right. So there's a lot to play with there. A lot of it, like I say, can be accomplished with reskins.
A lot of it's very specific to the stories that are going on, but again, the magic of role playing is that yeah, it's like okay, Ahsoka went and fought against the Eye of Sion massive hyperspace ring. No one says that your player characters weren't there too.
No
So
one can
you
say.
right?
No one's to say that they weren't there too. No one's to say that once that has been accomplished, someone else isn't trying to do it themselves too, or you don't accomplish it with another giant hyperspace ring. That's a hook to bring in the Purgill.
Yeah. Purgle stats
And
aren't a thing yet.
I mean, I started working on some ages ago from Rebels. I don't think I ever finished them.
As there is, like, Purgle stats are not a thing.
Like I say, I started a while years ago when they showed up on Rebels, but I've never finished them.
But then
I need to finish them.
they are a vital part of the Star Wars canon now.
Luthen's Hondor Falk,
Condor
Luthen's Fondor Hallcraft from Andor, I statted out and put on my website, and it was pretty simple to do. Well, I say it's pretty simple to do because we keep saying that Star Wars is our bread and butter, and we keep coming back to Star Wars as examples when we're recording the show. So, I've been playing it for 10 years now. You've been playing it for even longer than that. So it's second nature.
It's like when we see a ship size, we hear its class and character base. It's like, okay, it's that, strip that,
It's that. Okay, this doesn't exist yet, but here's how I would stat it out.
That's an attachment that's not standard, but here's how what a standard would likely look like.
Yeah, that's easy enough for us to do. So, we sit here and say, oh, that's simple. But someone who's new to the system, maybe it's not that simple to them. But all you have to do is look at the qualities that exist in that character, that piece of gear, that ship, whatever.
And then look at what exists in the statistics
in the game.
They have.
Because there's a lot of information for the Star Wars system. So it's a matter then of pulling this element from this, and this element from this, and this one from this.
It's just that we have a whole lot to pull from, but it's also the same for just about every system. If you look at something that's like, that kind of looks like that, yeah, that's the starting point. It looks like that, and, well, it has this other thing. Well, is there something else in this thing? Is there a spell or a weapon or a gear item that's like, well, I can put that on there? It's like, okay, that's fitting the thing.
Now, and you mentioning spells reminds me of something that I was going to touch on briefly. In that, we mentioned in the intro to the segment that when you've got a licensed property, it's hard for the published material to keep up, the published game material to keep up with what comes out in the primary media. There are a few occasions where the mass media is an adaptation, and so the game company is able to put information out. I'm thinking in particular of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Because when Honor Among Thieves came out, it had been out maybe a couple of days, maybe a week. And
it was that, I can tell you exactly, it was that weekend that we went and saw it, that I got the PDF.
Wizards released on D&D Beyond stats for the characters and stats for the unique equipment that was in the movie, like my personal favorite, the hither thither stick. I love the hither thither stick.
I know that you want to hit the stick at some point.
I wouldn't mind it. It's not a burning. If it comes down to having Hank's energy bow from the cartoon or the hither thither stick, I want Hank's energy bow. But I would love to have both.
What if you have to use the Hank's energy bow to get the hither thither stick?
As long as I've got Hank's energy bow, and then I can use it to make one of his fancy magic energy lassos and get the hither thither stick, I will be in heaven. Make it happen in our next D&D game, Nick. Nick's
I
like, oh no, what have
guarantee
I done? What have I done? What have I done?
it's in the podcast now. He could timestamp that. Damn it.
I can, and I can play it back for you anytime I want. I can cut that clip out and just play it back. At our next D&D session, I was like, hey guys, listen to what Nick said he's going to do for me.
I fell for one of the classic blunders.
Never get involved in a land war on Vulcan.
That is true. But yes, there's so much that you can like. As much as and this goes back to one of our major factors when we've always been talking about running games. The rules are there to be used to help you build your own stuff. Think of them like Lego blocks. You have these pieces. It's like, yeah, you don't have the instruction manual to build them, but it's like if you see something you like, just look in what you have. Pour through the book. Be like, okay, this works there. That stat comes there, and just build what you need.
I mean, the number of times when I've been homebrewing ships for Star Wars that I've said, like, okay, I'm going to start with this ship as the base, and let me yank off all of its weapons. Let me tweak its speed up or down. Let me swap this around, put the right weapons on, and boom, now I've got the ship that I'm trying to make.
Same thing with whenever I'm doing D&D sessions. It's like, okay, I need them to face off against enemies. It's like, I can't have them face off with a regular kobold. It's like, guess what? I'll give them a little bit of stuff from this class and a couple extra armor or weapons from this area. It's like, boom, new enemy type.
And I'm not going to lie, that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to when I actually get into figuring everything out for the Marvel Multiverse RPG, is just playing around with making comic book stuff.
Oh yeah, that's sort of the fun of RPG being a DM. Is like, yeah, it's great that we have like monster manuals and gear lists and stuff like that. But sometimes you're like, there's something that I want to do that doesn't exist.
So,
Well, you just
Nick,
look at what you have and you're like, okay, just sort of put it together, like sort of MacGyver together your own like enemy, your own gear, your own thing, your own. Again, we talked about like the hybrids is in the cyborgs. You could make your own character species with the same philosophy.
Nick, I know that I have told you that the first long running RPG campaign that I ever played was a DC Heroes RPG campaign back in
I
back in back in the 80s. Did I ever tell you?
back when, did you ever tell me how you had to send mail via Pteranodon since you were living there in the dinosaurs?
Yes, I did. And smoke signals.
Mm-hmm.
But did I ever tell you though that our DC Heroes campaign setting was a post-crisis combined DC Marvel universe? Basically the same
Oh, you did. You did tell me that.
the same universe, if you
Yeah.
will, that the DC Marvel crossovers took place in when
Yeah.
they all lived in the same universe. Not only that, but we decided, if there was other media that we enjoyed that wasn't going to just stick out like a sore thumb, we pulled it in too. So Johnny Quest lived in our DC Heroes universe.
No. Oh, that's cool. Johnny Quest is cool.
Johnny Quest lived in our universe. Anne Rice's vampires lived in our universe. Buckaroo Banzai lived in our universe.
Yeah.
And Hellraiser.
Oh, Hellraiser too.
Hellraiser existed in our universe, which I established in it was a Halloween adventure that I ran for our group where
Oh, that's sick.
go with me here, Nick. Go with me. A lament box was obtained by the Joker.
Oh, oh, that
The Joker solved the puzzle.
the lament
And
configuration.
yes, and at least
Honestly, I did it either be him or the Riddler.
no, it was the Joker because when he solved the configuration, he temporarily was transformed into a Cenobite. And
Snap!
the reason this happened, keep with me here.
I give it. This is already hype.
I had this vision once I came up with the idea of his reveal to the PCs because in his Cenobite form, some of the hell chains were hooked into the corners of his mouth, extending his smile even more.
Oh, that I have no words, Clef. That's
And at the time, Jason Todd was dead. When they first encountered Joker Cenobite, out-wheeled a battered and beaten image of the Jason Todd Robin just chained up on a crucifix. And the PC saw him, he's like, "Oh, you're not who I thought was coming." Because of course he would have expected Batman, not the PCs.
but it's also like so messed up and also very appropriate, but also like if that happened in the comics, I can imagine so much fan art from like the early 2000s people.
The whole reason that I mentioned this is because one of the big challenges for me is I was kind of the lore keeper for our universe because I was the biggest comics guy. And so I had like a 1.5 inch thick binder of just stats of DC and Marvel characters. The DC ones were mostly easy enough because most of them ended up getting published in various supplements. But I was making up
I'm pretty
stats
sure
for
you
them.
could DP the death of that binder if you needed to.
So I had all of those stats. And then I also kept a timeline of when events in the greater universe happened to keep straight, the Marvel and DC stuff. And as things were happening in the ongoing books, I was keeping track of how it would impact our combined universe. Because if Marvel does an annual crossover of Atlantis attacks, okay, how is that going to impact our combined universe? And then DC does Invasion. How does that impact our combined universe? How do you integrate a larger population of superhuman mutants into the DC universe population where there are fewer mutants, but there's a meta gene? So how do you reconcile the meta gene and the X gene? And so it was an early example of doing exactly the kind of thing that we've been talking about. And I was doing it for our entire campaign, and we had rotating GMs. 2 or 3 of us would rotate GM duties. So I was keeping all of this information for all of us to use. And the big beats, like if Atlantis invaded or there was invasion, our characters would know about because they were involved in the combined universe's version of those events. Yeah, I probably needed a little help. I needed to get out more.
No, it's
I
that's
needed to touch some grass.
no. Honestly, I find it very impressive and cool. I wish I had that amount of fortitude to do that. Honestly,
With the current states of both the Marvel and DC universes, I wouldn't even attempt to do that now.
oh, obviously, yeah. But
There,
that
there's
but if I would love to have that ability to lock in and do such quality work.
well,
I struggle with my like continuity and stuff with my games, so I will say that I admire your work, Daryl.
thank you. Thank you. I mean, I was helped out by, there were a few, official timelines that DC put out, and at the time Marvel was publishing the official history of the Marvel universe.
Ah,
So,
Daryl, don't be humble. That's not, you put in a lot of work, and I admire that.
I put in more work than I probably should have. you,
And I
you, you
admire that.
know,
I
you, you
wish I
know,
could. You probably
you,
put in more work than any of my games that I tried to put in my maximum effort, but I admire your work, sir.
you know what killed that campaign, Nick? Because all of our players were going to the same college too. We started in high school and we went to the same college. The campaign died when we all started dating.
And that's why I continue to run games to this day, because that didn't happen to me.
Well, hey, I'm married for 24 years and I still game now, but it had been quite a long while.
But you're just one of the lucky ones, man. Congratulations.
But that was quite a long ramble, but it was just meant to kind of illustrate that even back then I was constantly being inspired by new media, and a lot of it was media that would never be
Ever.
integrated into that game
I
because
feel
it
like
was owned by other companies.
I feel like you, as we were talking about, like there is a Marvel RPG coming out now.
Yep, and like I said, I wouldn't even dream of trying to do them combined like I did then, but Marvel and DC are doing crossovers again.
They are.
So never say never. Never say never. It's just too hard. It's too hard to reconcile. It's too hard to reconcile DC and Marvel's timelines within their own publishing
Timelines.
because I mean, Kitty
Also,
Pride. I mean, for example, Kitty Pride started out at 13. She turned 14 around the same time that Power Pack debuted, and she babysat Power Pack a few times. Kitty Pride is now in her early 20s, but the Power Pack has only aged 3 or 4 years.
I was just going to
Franklin,
reference
Rich-
this.
Franklin Richards was a member of Power Pack and was younger than Katie Power, who was 5 years old, and Franklin now appears to be 10 or 12.
I was just going to reference the fact that there's a really very funny, really bad cover of the Batman Deadpool crossover done by Frank Miller. It looks really bad.
Yeah. I've read through Deadpool Batman, which is out.
Oh, it
And
is?
eh, well, Deadpool Batman is out. Yes. Batman Deadpool comes out in November. And that's the one that I'm looking for because it's got a Nightwing and Laura Kinney Wolverine story written by Tom Taylor and drawn by Bruno Redondi, who drew
Oh,
Taylor's Nightwing run.
oh, damn, that's a good cast. That's a good team.
Yep, Yep. I already have a request in for it at the comic store. I told them I want the Nightwing and Wolverine cover because there's a Nightwing Wolverine variant cover. I want that one.
But I
So,
think I think we've. I wouldn't say that this is an end to the episode because there's a lot to be talked about
oh yeah,
in this
and
space.
we can follow up on this at some point. We might do one of our deep dives into creation of one of these critters
That
later
too,
on down the line.
and also maybe bring back when Robert is feeling better, in for their opinion for another like surface level look at things from a different
Yep.
perspective, for a
Yep.
different property or something.
Yep. And you know what? I'm feeling pretty good because this has been a fun conversation,
Oh, it has
and
been.
so I'm not even going to bully you.
Nah, Daryl, it's tradition.
Man, I don't know what to bully you about because there's been no natural segues. So, you
Let's,
Nick,
uh,
Nick, Nick. I hope a squirrel gets into your house tonight.
oh, no. I don't like them squirrels. Ain't a fan of them. No.
As I was leaving the office facility today, going down one of the exits, there was a little squirrel running along the curb, and I was like, "Man, if I were Nick, I
Lex
would be trying to
Luthor
catch
was
that
right.
squirrel."
Lex Luthor was right. That Superman ain't a good guy. He saved the squirrel.
He's the bestest guy. He saved two doggies. He saved a squirrel. He tried
No,
to.
he's an it. Lex Luthor was right.
You know, Nick, just for that, I hope at some point in the Lanterns series or in a future uh, DCU property, they bring in the Green Lantern chip. Now, technically,
You know
you
how
know,
that hurts me because I love Green Lanterns and I also know, like, oh no. You're right,
well,
Chip! Yeah.
oh, Nick, did they ever do a fight between Chip and Dexstar?
Let me think here. I don't think I ever
If
saw
they,
that.
if they didn't, that was leaving money on the table, man.
Oh, that was like
The chipmunk slash squirrel slash raccoon Green Lantern versus the
angry
radiating
cat
lantern.
of the Red Lanterns. Like
Yeah.
I might have to actually check through my books because I think like I've read through them multiple times. I might have to check through that.
So I now task you with finding that. That is your homework by the time we are over there for Dante's Mutants and Masterminds game on Saturday.
And then when in my bedroom, but I haven't read through that for but yeah, did they ever face off? That actually is like would be surprising if they didn't face off, even in the
Yeah.
background of a fight.
Like I say, that is leaving money on the table. But we've been going
And,
for an hour and a half.
closing.
So let's go ahead and close out. We'll hit the part of the show where I say check out our website at howwerollgaming.com. And on that website, you're going to find information about our current campaigns, our podcast archive, and links to our merch store and all of our social media, to Facebook, to Instagram, to Threads, to Blue Sky, to X, to Meetup. If you are in the DFW area and want to play in one of our games, check out both of our meetup group links, the How We Roll Gaming link and the Plano Star Wars role playing group link. Both of those are on our website. And you can also directly support the show through Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/howwerollgaming and you'll see our different membership tiers starting at just $2 a month, with special recognition on our Discord server, and higher tiers giving you on-air credit and discounts on our merch store. And on that merch store, since this is October as we record this, October 2025, and it is spooky season, we have 2 limited edition spooky season shirts on our merch store. One is the How We Roll Gaming Jack-O-Lantern shirt, where the D20 in the How We Roll Gaming logo is pumpkin
It's Spooky
shaded and has a
Pumpkin.
jack-o'-lantern face. And the other has that same die and says Critter Treat on it.
Woo.
So those are only going to be available in October. At the stroke of midnight, going out of October 31st into November 1st, they will go away. So
Woo.
get them while you can.
Finally, if you have any questions you'd like us to answer, topics you'd like us to cover, or even submit your own RPG glory stories, shoot us an email at podcast@howwerollgaming.com. And because you asked that last time, a friend of the show and friend of mine, Grant Christian, just wanted to say hi.
Hello, Grant. And also, just really quick, give us, wherever you listen to the podcast, especially Apple or Spotify, if you're enjoying the show, go ahead and give us as high a rating as you, I would say, as you want to. Give us as high a rating as you can. Also, like and subscribe on YouTube, all of that good stuff. Feed all of those nasty algorithms.
Don't forget the
to help out
bell.
the show. Yeah,
The bell is
for
apparently
notifications, all
important.
that stuff.
I'm not sure how that works, but the bell is apparently important.
But until next time, thank you once again for joining us. We hope to have you back again next time. Until then, I'm Daryl.
I'm Nick.
And this is How We Roll.